It was just past midnight when I boarded the last train home. The platform was empty, the kind of emptiness that pressed against my ears and made even my own footsteps sound too loud. I slid into one of the middle cars, sighing as the doors sealed behind me. My body felt heavy with exhaustion from work, and I just wanted the rhythmic sway of the train to carry me into a half-sleep. But almost immediately, something felt wrong. The car was nearly deserted, just me and someone sitting far down at the other end, half hidden under the dim light. I could only make out the silhouette of their head bent forward, unmoving. I tried not to stare. After all, late-night trains attract all kinds of people. I put in my earbuds, though no music was playing, to give myself the illusion of distance. The train rattled forward. The windows reflected the dim fluorescent light overhead, but the glass also showed faint streaks, as if someone had dragged their fingers down them. I told myself it was just grime, but I found myself glancing at the windows more than once. Somewhere between the next two stops, I heard it, a faint scrape. Not the usual groan of metal on tracks, but something sharper and closer, like nails dragging along the wall of the train car. I pulled out an earbud. The sound stopped. The figure at the far end of the car hadn't moved. I cleared my throat and shifted in my seat, forcing myself to look away. My pulse quickened despite my best attempts at reasoning. Then the lights flickered, just once, but long enough for the entire car to be swallowed in darkness for a heartbeat. When they returned, the figure at the other end was no longer seated. I froze. My eyes darted around the car, but there was no one else there. My breath felt too loud, too ragged. Slowly, I leaned forward, trying to see if they'd moved into the aisle between cars. Nothing. Just space. The scrape came again, this time directly behind me. I spun around, but the row of seats was vacant. The fluorescent lights buzzed above, casting a sickly yellow glow over the metal floor. My palms were slick with sweat. I stood up, telling myself I was overreacting and that maybe I should sit closer to the door. My shoes thudded too heavily against the hollow floor as I walked. That was when I noticed the windows. My reflection looked wrong. It was still me, but a fraction delayed like an old video feed. I raised my hand. It followed, but too slowly. I stepped closer, my chest tightening, when the reflection smiled, wide, toothy, grotesque. I stumbled back, slamming into the opposite seats, and the reflection, it stayed where it was, grinning at me. The train screeched into a tunnel, plunging the car into momentary darkness. In that pitch black, I swear I felt something brush past my shoulder, cold and deliberate. The light snapped back on, and there it was. My reflection was no longer confined to the glass. It stood inside the car, inches from me, head tilted, its smile stretching impossibly wide. Its eyes were mine, but hollow, wet black like oil. For a moment, neither of us moved. The train howled around us, rattling with metal shrieks, but all I heard was my own heartbeat. Then, in a sudden jerking lunge, it grabbed me. Its fingers were icy, digging into my arm and pulling me toward the window. I fought back, slamming my shoulder into it, but it was strong, stronger than me. The glass rippled like water as it shoved my face toward it. On the other side, I saw nothing but endless darkness. With a desperate shout, I drove my elbow into its face. It staggered back, the grin never faltering, and then dissolved into shadow, seeping through the cracks of the train car until it was gone. I collapsed onto the seat, gasping and trembling, my eyes darting wildly across the car for any sign of it. The train screeched, slowing. A station. The doors opened with a hiss. People boarded, real people this time, chatting softly, yawning, settling into seats. I forced myself to breathe, to steady my shaking hands. Maybe I'd imagined it. Perhaps the exhaustion had finally broken something in me. And yet, as the doors began to close, I caught a glimpse of the windows again. Dozens of reflections stared back at me. None of them moved in sync. It was almost 2 in the morning when I finally shut down my computer and pushed back my chair. Everyone else had left hours ago, leaving the office hollow and lifeless. The hum of the ceiling lights was the only sound, echoing through the empty cubicles. My body ached from the overtime, and all I wanted was to get home, crawl into bed, and forget about the endless spreadsheets. I trudged toward the elevators, my shoes echoing on the marble floor. The lobby felt too big when it was empty, like the building itself was holding its breath. I pressed the call button, and the numbers above the door ticked slowly downward. When the elevator finally arrived, the doors opened with a metallic groan. The inside smelled faintly of mildew, though I couldn't imagine why. This building was spotless during the day, but right now, under the dim yellow light, it looked old. Wrong. I stepped inside, hit the ground floor button, and leaned against the wall. The doors closed, and the car began its descent. At first, everything was normal. The low hum of machinery, the gentle vibration of cables sliding. But halfway down, the elevator shuddered violently. The lights flickered and buzzed before stabilizing. I exhaled shakily, telling myself it was just old wiring. Then came the sound. A faint scuffle. Not from inside the elevator. From above. I tilted my head up toward the ceiling grate. The sound grew clearer, shuffling, dragging. As if someone was crawling across the roof of the elevator. My chest tightened. Who would be up there at this hour? The car jerked again, harder this time, and stopped completely. The floor indicator blinked out. Silence swallowed me. I pressed the emergency button. Nothing. My finger hovered over it again, but then, something banged directly above me. It was loud and heavy. Dust sifted through the vent, sprinkling onto the floor. I stumbled back into the corner. That's when I saw it. The mirrors. Every elevator wall had sleek, reflective panels. But my reflection wasn't right. My reflection was breathing faster than I was, chest heaving. I raised a trembling hand and it followed, but a second too late. Then slowly, it smiled. The lights flickered off, plunging me into darkness. I fumbled for my phone, my heartbeat hammering. The flashlight burst to life. The mirrors, my reflection, was gone. But when the overhead lights flickered back on, I wasn't alone. There were 3 of me, all crammed into the reflections, all smiling, all with black, hollow eyes. The elevator doors screeched open, revealing a floor I'd never seen. The display glowed with numbers that shouldn't exist. -3. The hallway outside was pitch black, stretching endlessly. And from the darkness, I heard something move, slow footsteps coming closer. The reflections turned their heads toward the open doors and grinned wider. The rain was relentless, hammering against the windshield as I drove down the empty road. My eyelids felt heavy and every mile seemed longer than the last. When I finally spotted the glowing neon sign vacancy, I pulled in without hesitation. The sign buzzed and flickered, casting a sickly red glow across the cracked asphalt. Inside, the clerk barely looked up. He slid me a key with chipped paint and mumbled, "Room 6, in a flat, almost rehearsed tone. The hallway reeked of mold and cigarettes. The carpet squelched beneath my shoes, damp from years of neglect. My key got stuck in the lock before the final turn. The room was acceptable. Old and outdated, it had a sagging bed, a yellow-stained lamp, and peeling wallpaper. But one thing stood out. The mirror. It was covered by a thin sheet, nailed to the wall at each corner. Who covers a mirror? I dropped my bag, curiosity gnawing at me. Slowly I peeled back the corner and froze. The glass was cloudy and smeared, as if someone had tried to scrub it clean. But behind the fog, a face looked back at me, my face only older and gaunter, with dark circles hollowing my eyes. I let go of the sheet and it snapped back into place. My pulse raced. Then I heard it, scratching. At first faint, then sharper, it sounded like nails dragging against wood and plaster inside the walls. Suddenly, the bathroom door creaked open by itself. I inched closer, my heart pounding. The mirror above the sink wasn't covered, and in it, my reflection wasn't moving. It stared at me, smiling faintly. The lights flickered. The bed rustled, and the sheets bulged upward, writhing as if something crawled beneath them. My stomach dropped. The walls groaned, and dozens of pale hands pressed outward, straining against the peeling wallpaper, scratching and clawing to get free. I bolted for the door, yanking it open, only to stop cold. It wasn't the hallway. It was the same room, same bed, same mirror. And in the mirror, dozens of me, all smiling, waiting.